So during this video what I want to do is basically go through our first task for this week's lab, week 11. So as you can see here, what we're going to be tackling is a geological geometry question, a road geometry question to be specific about it. So first of all, like always, we'll just read through the question, what we're given. Like all questions, this is the most important thing you do before you start anything, and pull out those key bits of information. So first of all, I suppose this diagram here is showing us ground contours at 5 meters vertical intervals. So as you can see here, it's going from 210, 205, 200, 195, 190, 185, and so on. So you can see here, A, B, C, D is a proposed roadway which widens from C to D. So A to D, proposed roadway, and from C to D, you can see that it widens out here. The road has the following specifications. Okay, so AC formation width is 12 meters. Okay, so from here to here is 12. Okay. Formation level at B is 205 meters. So here is 205. So B is equal to 205 meters. A to D is 1:10 rising, so that means from A to B here is 1:10. I'm going to put that down here. So this is 1:10 rising, and then B to D is 1:15. Okay. Okay, what else tells us? So side slope for cutting is 1:2, and side slope for embanking is 1:1.5. Okay, so you all know, usually when I'm referring to banking, I just like to call it fill. So if I mention fill, I'm on about embanking here. So I'm just going to take out that piece of information. I'm going to change it into units that are more useful to me. So if I go over here, I'm going to first of all take out my cutting is 1:2. So I just say cutting . One is to 2, and then I'm going to say fill, which are embanking, is 1:1.5. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically change these units and basically change it to 5. Okay, so as you can see here, if I change this 1 over to 5, that means my 2 is now going to be 10. And if I do the same thing below here, change that 1 to 5, because we're going in intervals of 5 millimeters vertical from between each contour, as you can see. So if this is 5, this is going to be 7.5, because it's 1:0.5. So now what I can do is I can also write down another piece of information I suggest you all write down, especially dealing with more advanced road geometry questions, which would be the typical ones you'll be dealing with from now on if you're going to be assessed, because it's kind of the harder side of the road geometry. We won't be really dealing with flat roads, only for certain sections. So now there's going to be slopes. That's, as you can see here, which is 1:10 rising and 1:15 rising. Now you can also have that like 1:10 falling and things like that. But what I'm going to write down here is a key bit of information that you should always write down in your sheet, which is cut low and fill high. Now what I mean by that is that when you're dealing with a road that's at a slope, the cone that you're going to form for, let's say, cutting is going to be on the low side of the road, and the cone that you're going to I suppose form for filling is going to be the high point of the road. Okay, so another way to remember this cut low, fill high would be kind of more of a bit of a saying that I like to say to myself that helps me remember this is cut the grass low and fill the trailer high. Now if you can think of something else that helps you remember this, that's absolutely fine. I just find that a nice way to remember that it's cut low and fill high. Now, after that, what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to deal with from A to B. Okay, so we know, we don't know exactly what A is at, but we know that B is at 205. So what we can do now is we can actually measure over here 50, and we can draw ourselves our cone, and that cone is going to be 10 millimeters in size. And the reason for that was because we are traveling from the 205 downwards here, and we're forming our cone, which is going to be a cut cone. Now, the reason I know also to travel 50 is because it's 110 is rising, so if that's 5, this would be 50. So for 50 down, this is going to be, I suppose, 5 meters lower. So if this is 205, when I go 50 below here, it's going to be 200 meters below here. Draw a line up. I'm going to use a different colour for each section that I'm going to be completing, just so you can see the difference, because you'll find with this kind of a drawing, all the lines are going to start to get on top of each other, and it's going to get very confusing. So that's the good thing about having the worked example here that I'm completing rather than just the finished solution. If you're looking at the finished solution often, it can just confuse you. Seeing how I'm doing step by step here, I suppose brings a lot of clarity to when you're supposed to bring in what lines. So I measure my 50 mil out here, like so. Now I'm going to call this point E, A, B, C, D, E. And E is going to be at 200. So you get the 5s to 50 here and rising when I change it, because if you see that I'm going to move 50 back, that means it's going to be 5 millimeters less back this direction. I can now draw my circle, which is going to be 10 millimeters. Like so. And then I'm also going to draw a line now from B, tangential to this circle that I created, which is basically my cone. It's just going to touch off the base. Now, if any of you, just before I go any further, are small bit confused about drawing this circle in relation to the cone, what I do suggest you would is go back to your book, Anderson's book, and have a look at this page 367, and it talks about your cut and your fill cone. And you can see when we're looking down and seeing that circle, basically what we're seeing is this circle here. Okay, now what we are doing on this section of the road is we're actually doing a cut as well. So you can imagine where I've drawn my line from. So from this point here is this point here, and then where I'm touching tangential off the side of the cone that I formed is here, which is here. Okay, now if you're still not too sure, go back, have a look at this. There's information online as well if you're, I suppose, lacking that bit of clarity. As I continue on with this, I know now that this is at 205, so I can call that 205. The reason I know that's the 205 because if you travel all the way back, you know it's from point B here, which is 205. Now remember, point E here is at 200, so if I do a line parallel with that as well, I have the 200 line. Now I don't think I need it, but I'm going to take it down there anyway just to show you. Now, to be honest with you, complete a question like this, as long as you have it tied down to a table, the page, just using sliding set squares is enough to complete it. Now that line would be a 200. So 200, as you can see there. And now you can see the intervals of the space between them is always going to be that 10 millimeters because of our cone here. So we also have to keep drawing our lines parallel to these 10 meters up. So I have each line that basically intersects one of these contours, so I can find the points. Now, don't be too worried if you draw a line too long or too short. You can always extend them if they go too far. That's alright. It will just kind of get on top of other bits of drawing you have to do. The main thing is if you're using different colours like I am with highlighters, it can clear up what lines are important, what lines aren't important. And don't be too worried either about doing extra lines here. If you don't use them, that's fine. So I'll continue going on here. So this should be 210 because we're going up in fives. 215, 220, and 225. Okay, now I don't think I need the last two lines here, but that's alright. So if I look here, so the first contour that it travels through here is 215. So if I carry up to 215 here, where does it intersect 215? That's right about here. Now also the 220 here travels up and out of the page, so I can guess that it comes out and intersect somewhere back along here. So I'm just going to leave a point there, just a guesstimation. Then for my 210, that hits 210 here. So you can see the 210, hits the 210. 205 comes down, hits the 205. Now for the 200 comes down. Now I need to extend this line, just this line here, I need to extend that below the road, through the roads, so I know where it hits. So then where I know where it's travelling and hitting this point in the road where it stops. So I can just extend this. Now the only thing is you have to be very careful when using these highliners, because obviously if you draw a line you won't be able to get rid of it. So that's the 200 hits here. So now I know that my line's going to be travelling down through here like so. These points, it's going to be coming all the way down, and it's going to be stopping there. It would be continuing on to here, but I'm going to stop where it hits the road. Now basically I need to do my other section, which is going to be now filling. Because I'm going to have to fill it in, so I'm going to have to use my fill cone, which is going to be a 7.5, and it's going to be at B. So I get 7.5. My compass, 7.5. Now you'll need a nice sharp lead to get the right measurement. I'm going to change my colour as well. Change for red this time. Okay. The line here is going to travel from E tangential to this cone. Just extend it on. Now last time you see how we were going up. Now we're going to be going down, so this is 205, so this is going to be 200, but also tell this is 200 because if you follow backline it hits off the 200 here. So I'm just going to label this 200 here, try to keep it out of the way somewhat. These are going to be going up in 7.5, so okay, now so again you're going to find your contours. So this is going to travel to the 200, so that's the 200 here. Then we're going to have the 195, it's going to hit through here. and then the 190 hits through here. Now the reason I'm going to stop here is because remember it's only from A's to B is rising is 1 to 10. From B to D is going to be rising from 1 to 15. Now also to remember this question is small but tricky due to the way that the road changes direction here and widens even though it's still rising. So we're going to be able to complete our 1 to 15 rising from B to C, and then we're going to have to change basically the road that we're dealing with here but keep the same 1 to 15 rising. So I'm just going to stop here because it's just gone past B and that's far enough. So I'm just going to join these up like so, and I'm going to stop. Now what I'm going to do is form basically my new cones, my new cutting and filling cones for my new 1 to 15 rising, not 1 to 10. So this time what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to travel basically from B out 75. The reason I'm travelling out 75 this time is because if I change this to 5, this will change to 75. So that means if I travel out 75 here, basically it's changing 5 meters height. So if I go here 75, what I do is just extend the road so I have a nice straight line to work with, like so. 75, and I'm going to call this F, A, B, C, D, E, F, like so. I'm going to change my colour again. I'm going to go for a green. F. And I'm going to say F is equal to 210 because after travelling up 75 we've gone up 5. And I'm going to draw my 7.5 circle because we're still filling. And the reason I know we're filling is because all these contours are still below 210. So I'm going to get a line now from B, which is going tangential to the side of this circle here, which is going to be the cone, like so. And I can go down now again. So this is going to be 210 to 205. And then 7.5 intervals up along again. I'm going to go with that mini first. If I'm short I can come back. Now as you can see our lines are starting to get on top of each other. That's why it's handy having the different colours. Otherwise you get fairly confused very quickly. Even if you would colouring pencils, you can somewhat rub them out if you do have a mistake, and it can be very handy having the different colours just to identify the different lines. So this is 210, 205, 200, 95, 90. Now again, trying to line up the different contours. So if I go back here and I have a look where I let off, so I 190 last, so my 185, that intersects here and here also. Then 190, come back to 190, that's here. See, it's on my 190 line, 195. Two numbers. 205. Okay, so also what I can guarantee here now straight away by just looking at it, I know that when I draw basically my outline of where my fill is, for above here, when I'm doing this section of the road, it's going to basically intersect this line that I'm drawing now, which is travelling from here. It's going to intersect, and where it intersects is basically going to be the line we're going to be dealing with, so it's going to intersect somewhere around here, and then I'm going to have another line, and then what you're going to see is that it's going to stop here and go up. It's not actually going to be a continuation. You'll see that after. I'll just use a darker pen to go back over this to show you the outline, but for now that's fine. So now here's the tricky part. Because our road's widening, we're going to need to change and basically form what we need to form over here where it needs to be cut, where it needs to be filled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually extend this part of the road down. Like so. B, I'm going to drop that straight down. Where B intersects here, I'm going to say that's also at 205, and I'm going to take F straight up where it hits here and call that 210. I'm just going to call this point A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I'm going to call this G. Let's see, I'll call this one G. Change that color as well. So use a darker green. I'll call this G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then call this one H up here. Now H is also going to be at 210, and G is also going to be at 205. I should have changed the colour for H. So that's blue. So what we deal with first, I suppose we might as well deal with H first. The reason for that is because we're still going to be filling. Yeah, we're still going to be filling up along here, and then we're going to be cutting again once it goes up high, I think. So what we can do here is we can start off with H. We can draw our circle for H, which should be 7.5 because it is going to be a fill. Yeah, 7.5 because it's fill. See the circle, I have a circle here, that's going to be 7.5, and that means at G, if we need it, it's going to be a 10 mil, which we might not need. Let me see. First of all, I'm going to draw a line from G tangential to this cone or circle, as you can see here. Circle, as you can see in plan, will be a cone if you saw it in pictorial view. As you can see here, I'm going to have this so that's going to be 205, 205, this is 210, so we'll have lines up at some 0.5 intervals again, so okay, that should be enough. Parallel lines again. Got my 7.5 for my 5 meter intervals. Okay. 210, 205, 200, 195, 190, 185 and 180. Okay, now I might not need all those. So if I go back here, my 180, okay, I don't have anything at 180. 185, this should hit off the 185 if I extend it. So it hits here and here. Then my 190 hits here. 195 hits here. So it's now just crossing over. 200 hits here. 205 hits here. 210, I need to take that up as well. So if I do another parallel line, go from where H is here, 210, bring that up. Now it has a 225. I can use that as well. Okay, so that's 215. My 215 hits here. 210 hits here. And it's back along. Okay, so you can see it goes through the road here, so I will need my cut. You can see there that this line intersects here. That's where that will stop, but I'll outline that to you in a while when I go over it again in black. So that means I also need my cone over here, which is going to be my cutting cone, because now we're going to be cutting into ground, so you can see it passes through. So what I need to do is draw a line tangential to the cone here, G to H. That line is going to be at 210. It's going to be going upwards because you can see this is 205. Now I probably need 1, 2, maybe 2 or 3, because we're going up through 210, 215 and 220. So if I have 2 more lines up at 10, so 10 here and 10 here. So that's 210, so this is 215 and this is 220. Now I'm guessing if 220 travel up through here, it would hit above here somewhere. The 215 hits off at here, so that would be maybe, let's say, around there. So now we can basically take from our point here where it travels through, go through here and up and over. Okay, so basically what you've done there now, you've completed the outline of where the cut of the fill is happening up at the top here along. Now I'm just going to highlight that line so it's a bit clear, as well as put in those tadpole looking fellas that always climb upwards. So that's just to identify if you're doing a cut or a fill. So I'll just outline it here. So you can see there what we were doing basically is we were filling it up. Now as you can see, we're cutting into the ground here. Just cutting in. As you can see, it takes a bit of a change here. We're going to be following the blue now. And then back here again for our cut. Now just to identify what you're doing in each one of these sections, we can put in our tadpoles. So you can see they're always climbing up the hill. Opposite direction here. And then the opposite direction again above here. Now just to highlight the bottom of the road. Like so. Now that's the toughest part of that question completed. Below the road here, a lot easier. All you have to do is repeat this section here on the opposite side again by constructing, basically bring this line straight down, constructing that semicircle which is forming that cone, if you remember again, and you're basically going to have the mirror image across here, as well as over here. Just remember to stop, because at this point B, remember that it's from 8B is 1 to 10 is rising, so like we did here again, then you're going to change it to 1 is 15 and rising. But this time, because the road doesn't veer off like in an angle, as you can see there, it continues on straight, you can just keep completing it all the ways across, just changing unless you need to do a filler cut where it pierces through the road like so. I'm going to stop here because that section should be extremely easy for you. This bit here is the section that you're going to find tricky. Now after this, I'm going to have basically a video walking through skew boreholes. If any of you have questions on completing this section above here, contact me. Especially if you're finding this very confusing and you've already consulted Danderson's book. Now it's kind of one of those things you're going to have to wrap your head around why everything's happening. Danderson's book, in fairness to it, does a good job at showing you some pictorial views, showing you, I suppose, what is happening. Just have a look back on some of the sheets that we gave you of the completed solutions during past labs. As well as that, there'll be plenty of information online about completing questions like this. But past that, you should be fine with completing the rest of this question below here. It's very easy. Just the top section here, the only twist you'd really have is just how the road winds out here like so.